Hi, so Charlie giving you Friday's live trading. Hope you're very well. We're just having a look at the markets here. It's all coming up to 10 to, or it's 10 to 8. A little bit later getting started today because just with the guys in the room, are just running through a trade we've just closed out of, which I've seen from earlier in the week. So I was just running through that. We're actually already in a euro trade from yesterday afternoon session, and it's really not done a lot, must admit. So I'm just having a look at this, and obviously we've got to look for fresh trades today as well. So I'll be back in a bit. Right, okay, just back. And this euro, we got into this euro dollar yesterday up at about 64, fun enough, yesterday. But it was based on, there was like a trend line break. If I draw the trend line on, there was like a trend line across here, and then it broke, and I shorted it here. And then down here somewhere. And then it pretty much went sideways, went a little bit lower and went sideways. So we just sat in it overnight. Now the first target is at 37, which is the 4-hour 200 moving average. So if it can get down to there, then I know. I'm sorry again that this isn't a live trade per se just yet, but we've got to manage this out. So this is um, you know the way it goes. As far as the account's concerned, it's been a very good week in the end. Again, Euro trade, we've got some Euro positions here, and really it's because of this dollar yen. Which, if you follow me on Twitter, you would see this stuff. Then just cashed out here this morning at 4,600 quid. So a nice run on that. I was down at the beginning of the week. I did have a loss of about 1,500 quid on the yen first of all. Had to go in again, and then it's paid out eventually here. So this euro dollar position, we're tracking this down to 37, but I'm going to take half down there at 37, and because we're just looking at this, and I'd like to see if it can get down to its daily 50, which is down just a bit above 106. So if it can do that, then fine. Now the only thing as I'm looking at this market is there a fresh trade? Is there a fresh trade to get short? Well, the only thing is that 200 period moving average, which, like I say, is at 37. I would be getting short just into a major piece of support, so I can't quite justify that. So, but that's where we're at the moment. So, unfortunately, it could mean that at the moment, anyway, my focus is on managing these trades out. I've managed the dollar yen we've already just closed out of this morning, and it's actually gone up since I've got out even. But it was a 160 pip trade, and it's done well. So. I just need to get this euro dollar sorted out. So if I want to take half, I need to do some stuff here. So what I need to do on this account, in order to take half on the euro, I need to buy. I'm short with 100,000, so I'll buy 50,000 if it can get down there. So it's getting close-ish. So I'm just going to be watching this one. Here it goes. So it's just getting very close to it now. It's into actually its lows of a couple of days ago, so at 42 area. So it's just the case. Then we get a little flurry down there to the 200. I'd like to see that. So nearly there, and then I'm taking half, literally just on top of it. It was then. It didn't quite hit on my chart, so we'll just see if it can get the hit on the charts, or more or less. So just needs a little bit more of a nudge, and I'd like to see it get that nudge really. And now I'm recording here. You know what will happen? It will just slow up, so I might have to press pause in a moment. Let's see if we can get there. Come on, no, it's going to pause, so I'll have to press pause myself. Right, okay, it's right on top of that. There it is, right, it's on it now. Great. Okay, I've just hit it. Brilliant. Okay, so we've now just got banked half there. So let's bring up the account. So it's this one we're looking at. Forget these other trades. They're other positions I'm in. So I've got all sorts of long positions and short positions, hedging the long and stuff like that on that euro. This is the trade that we're looking at. This is the trade I shorted yesterday at 64. and we've just banked half there by me opening this position down here at 37. So that's 27 pips. We've banked half at, and now it's just a case of how much further can it go. Like I said, if it can get down to, so I'm still net short on across these two positions, um, with half a lot. So if you can get down to 106, just above 106, that's the daily 50. If it can get down there, then that'll be the second target. Okay, and but it's a bit of a shame it's not a fresh trade today. I've had a couple like this last couple of weeks where I've been managing out trades, but this is the thing. We're in the live trading room every day doing trades, and sometimes these trades we've just carried on over from the day before, or whatever, and we're managing these out. So it's still important to show you this. So what I'll do is go back over to this hourly chart. Like I said, it broke down on the hourly. We were waiting yesterday afternoon in the live trading room for it bouncing around. Then it broke down, and then on the breakdown, I'll actually bring up the charts. I don't know how much telecharts here scrolls back. I'm just showing you on telecharts at the moment, but here it was. Here was the breakdown, wasn't it? Yeah. Here was the breakdown here yesterday. Shorted it immediately on the end of this bar, and it was funny because I was then going to add. I was just talking to the guys actually. Going to add when it hit the upper band. Now this looks in hindsight like it hit that upper band, but if I take this into real time at the time, you'll see that it didn't. There we go. It was such a smidgen off. It didn't quite hit it in real time, so I remember my finger was on the trigger at the time, but it never got it. So, but I can see that it came back up to that same level half an hour or so later. But it just so happened that I was out picking up our daughter from school at that point, so I missed that. And by the time I came back in, it had come back over. So anyway, so we've sat in it all night. But I said to the guys, really, the pattern was okay for to hold overnight. Sometimes you get into an intraday trade and you say it's not worth holding overnight because of the type of trade that it is. You're more likely to get stopped out. This was a nice clean break of a trend line with it moving down as it had. It just looked good to not have to worry about that. I must admit, I looked at this just this morning saying, well, okay, stops do need to be trailed now because now it's come down, it's been chopping around. It could have, if it wanted to have done, started to just come up a bit, and so the minimum criteria of disrupting the trend line was done, because here's the trend line without me using a proper trend line tool. Let's start that one again. Here's the trend line. If I can draw it on sort of across there, it's done more than enough in time perspective. If from a time perspective, it doesn't always have to just go straight down from a trend line break. From a time perspective, it done more than enough to disrupt the pattern. So that's why I trailed that stop down there this morning. But anyway, it's come down, it's sitting right on that 4-hour 200 right now. As we're seeing it bouncing as a result. The stop is going to remain up here on these two positions because I need to give it some slack now to see if it does want to retrace. But whatever happens, at least half's banked at that level. It wouldn't be a lot if it came all the way back up and stopped me out at break even, but it'd be what, 27 divided by 2, so it'd only be 13 pips or so net on a single lot trade. But we'll see it out and see if it can get down there. I'll press pause for now. Okay, just back. I was just doing some analysis with the guys, and this whole trade on this euro, it needs managing. We just did the analysis. I was looking at the higher time frames here. Hopefully you can see part of these charts. Yes, you can. We've hit that 200. This is the yellow line on the 4-hour time frame. This now allows for a larger retracement. My stop's at 64. This could easily come up to 80 before even wanting to ultimately come lower. So it could be right ultimately on it wanting to come down to its daily 50, which is down here, the black line. But nothing over goes in a straight line, and that in conjunction with the fact that I know the dollar yen has got very overbought in the short term means that I'd be just basically giving profits back to the market, I think, potentially. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to trail this stop down. Let's move this back down to these other time frames. If it just plops down further here this morning, then great, but for now I'm going to move this stop down just to about 54. Okay, so let's get that sorted out. So I'm locking in a bit more gains, not a lot, but it's another bit more. So I need to move this stop down to 54, and I need to therefore put a target in on the long at 54 as well. 106.54. Okay, because remember, I'm a half lot long on this position. You can see it where I took basically half profits, if you remember. There it is. Actually, if I just bring it across there, there's the 50,000. So this is the short with 100,000 from 106.64. I then bought 50,000 at 37, so effectively banking, what's that, 27 pips. And now I've effectively bought the stops. This one would just bank profits at 54, and this one would get stopped out at 54, giving me a whatever net in the middle. So I think that feels better for me. Looking at the chart, sometimes you can look at there and stubbornly say, no, I'll just sit on this. But looking at the bigger time frames, it could certainly have a bigger bounce, which would just end up just giving some of those profits back a bit needlessly. Sometimes, you've got to hold out. And other times you look at a trade and you think, no, this needs a little bit more accurate, active management. So that's where we're at there. I'll press pause for now. We're 11 minutes in and I haven't even done anything fresh at the moment. One thing I must mention here again, I know this has been a couple of Fridays now where I've been managing out of existing positions from earlier on in the week. And that is, you get to a Friday and you can see, I've had some nice profits on other trades this week as well. And then you get to the end of the week and you're like, well, I don't really want to give it back Friday. And obviously I'm not going to give it back. The profits have been too good this week to do that. But you still get to the point when you say, do you know what, I'm done. I've had enough. I'll have the weekend break and then I'll come back a bit fresh and then I'll be ready to sort of get started again next week, so to speak. But don't get me wrong, we're going to have a look down here and see if there's anything that's of real interest. Maybe I might even take a little euro long trade down here actually. I'm still short. I've trailed that stop down. Might be able to take a separate long trade maybe on this euro dollar. There's a little bit of a divergence down here on the RSI I see. Maybe there's a little cheeky trade on the long side of the euro dollar. So I don't mind that. I might take a little cheeky trade there. So if it pulls back down to the white, everything I was just saying there about not trading, but if it pulls down to this white line, then I'll take a cheeky trade because it'll be such a small amount of risk. I'll put a one lot trade in, and we'll do that. The thing is, this is the room here, and you can just about make out the room. And you've got people saying here that they've just had their best. Ricky's saying he's had his best week of the year so far. So. And feels the same way, that he doesn't really want to be trading that much today. Just enjoy it and enjoy the whole process of having a great week, and don't end the week on a bit of a sour note. Now, having said all of that, I'll take a one lot trade with a stop down here. What's that stop going to be at? It's the lows down at 36. It'll be such a small amount of risk. I will take a trade, or let's take that back to 100,000. So at least I am getting a live trade outside of the trades I'm managing on the video updates. Let's see if we can get this. As far as targets are concerned, so I'm not even going to look to the absolute lower band, but somewhere around about 40 would do it. That would have a stop at 36 and a target at 48. Yeah, it's just about enough risk reward. It's not a lot in monetary terms, but that's where I'm seeing. Actually, no, I won't even go for the 48. We'll try and run this all the way back up to about 72 to the daily pivot. And the reason I do that is because I've already said we're on that 4-hour 200. The potential's there for a bounce all the way up to 80 or so. So if I can get in. Then that would be a great risk reward, and I'll just try and run it all the way up. See you, pilot. So let's just see if I can get that. I'll press pause while we're waiting. Okay, just back, and I said I wanted about 40. That'll do. So right, long with just one unit, so it's only just a one lot size with a stop. I'm just checking these lows. That's at 36. So yeah, a stop at 35. So it's a 5 pip stop. Wow. 6. So it's about a 5 pip stop. So really, really tight. But like I said, I don't want to give it back Friday. We've already discussed all of that. So if I lose on this, I'll lose about £50. And but if it wins, the risk reward on it is actually pretty good, and it would make about 200 odd pounds. So the risk reward is reasonable on it. So why am I looking? Just seeing the potential. It's on the if I go back to the bigger charts again, remember it's right on that 4 hour 200. Remember I'm net short as well still, so I am still net short in that previous trade still. So this is a separate trade, and so if it goes up, I'll make on this trade. The daily pivot's up about 72 or so. That's more than doable as a bounce on this time frame. If it rolls over, so be it. It just rolls over and stops me out. But if it carries on rolling over, then I'm going to be still making money on the rest of that short that I'm in on the euro anyway. So lots of active management, and it seems to have been that way over the last couple of weeks within positions. So yeah, quite interesting really. Right, I'll press pause for now. Right, so we've been chatting away in the trading room, but the euro dollar trade, as we can see, has just been going sideways for this last hour and a half. It's up a little bit. Let's bring up the other charts here so you can see these. You should be able to see enough of this. This is an hourly time frame on this chart. Move that across a little bit so I can still see the. Oh, all right, that'll do. So we're looking up, like I said, this daily pivot, which is this black line up here, comes in line currently with the hourly 50, which is my black moving average here. So I think that could take quite some time, so this video may not get out very early today. But let's take those pivots off now. Just one to sit on. It's only got 5 pips of risk, like I keep on saying, and there's not a lot more to do with it. The trade that I'm in from yesterday, is banked half, and that will get stopped out if it comes up to 54. But that will have banked nice bit of small amount of profit. That'll be all right. And that's about it as we go into Friday. It's another week. Touch wood, it's been a good week. But one thing I must say is that you can have a good run, but you always have to expect almost. You don't know what's around the corner, and you always have to mentally prepare yourself for the next drawdown or run of losing trades. So you have to prepare yourself for that. This week, funnily enough, I would have been on for a losing week because I'd had a couple of attempts on this dollar yen trade beforehand, which had not worked out, but I had to stick to the plan, and it finally worked out. But if it hadn't have worked out and the plan had been completely wrong, it would have just been a losing week for me. So but I don't know what next week will bring, or the week after. All we can look at, I was talking to the guys in the room about this just a minute ago, all we can look at is our net profitability, our average profit, rather than worrying about one trade to another trade. The most important thing is our net profitability. Don't worry about win rate on any individual trade, whether it's going to win or whether it's going to lose. Look at it over a series of trades, 30 trades, 60 trades, 100 trades. That's much more more interesting rather than just saying over any smaller series of trades. What's most important is making sure your net profitability potential is there. So don't worry about having a few losers here and there, because you're going to have them. Accept those. But if your risk reward is good, then your winners will pay out. We just worked out the dollar yen trade. One of our traders, it was a 1 to 9.6 risk reward for him from where he managed to get in on it. For me, it was just over. Roughly a 1 to 6 risk to reward. A 1 to 6 risk to reward trade is a great trade. It pays for a lot of losers. So that's all you have to worry about. Anyway, I'll press pause for now. Right, just back, and that euro trade, after sitting on it for 3 hours or so, came up a bit, but nowhere near to target. There's always a potential when you're such a tight thing; it might still bounce again later or something like that. But it got stopped out for 5 pips. It was £39. Let's have a look here. There it was. I was in at 40, out at 35 and a half. £39 loss there. So, but the euro trade that I'm in with the guys from yesterday is still running. This is a different trade up here, which is still running and hedged, and obviously these other ones. So overall today, as it stands, around about whatever it's going to be about 4,000, best part of £4,800 banked today. Um, but I think that's about all I need to say on this video. It's long enough as it is. So I shall leave you to it. Have a lovely weekend and see you next week.